There's a lot of employers out there that want to think that they're doing something good by hiring veterans, that they're helping veterans. And my argument back to most employers is veterans, when they come to the workforce, they enrich your workforce. So rather than you helping the veteran, I like to think that veterans are helping the employer.
Recently, Gigi Stone-Wood sat down with a senior official at the Department of Veterans Affairs to discuss how the VA is helping veterans prepare for and land civilian jobs.
We're speaking with Curt Coy. He's the Deputy Undersecretary for Economic Opportunity at the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. He's a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy who spent 24 years in the Navy. Thank you for being here with us.
Well, thank you, Gigi, for inviting me.
What kinds of things does the VA offer? What kinds of resources that are most important for someone currently leaving the military or looking for a job that they would need to know?
Well, the VA is the second largest department in the United States government, and it's several segments. One is the health side of VA. There's also the Cemetery Administration, which is sort of a self-explanatory role. And then there's the Veterans Benefits Administration, and that's where I work. As it relates to employment, many of those benefits are under me, as in the GI Bill, the vocational rehabilitation, loan guarantee, and employment issues.
And not everyone realizes that when they leave the military that there's all this training and that resources that are available to them.
On the benefits side, you get certainly the post 9/11 GI Bill. What that does is provides a veteran 36 months of tuition, housing, and a book stipend for however they want to use it. There's also programs like apprenticeship programs, on-the-job training program. Most certainly, if you're a disabled veteran or a wounded warrior, we have a vocational rehabilitation and employment program. If you've sustained some sort of disability while you were in the military, you have disability compensation. So there's a rich array of benefits that the VA offers veterans.
So what do you think veterans really need to know? What kind of message do you want to get across?
I think the key message for veterans is that you need to sell yourself. You need to leverage your benefits. You need to network with your teammates and your partners and those that are out in the civilian world. Military members are used to the team concept, the unit concept. My ship is. But rarely do veterans and military members try and talk about themselves. So turning that around and convincing an employer that they are the best person for the job and here's why is critically important. You have to remember that less than 1% of this country's population have been in the service. So you need to help your interviewer and your employer understand what you went through and what those skills and attributes that you possess as a military member or veteran are.
And you are a veteran. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the Navy.
I started out my career as an enlisted person in the Air Force. I went to the Naval Academy, as you mentioned. I went out and drove ships for about 5 years as a surface warfare officer. Then I became a supply corps officer, did that for another 10 or 15 years, and left the service after 24 years.
How does it feel to you being part of the VA now and helping other veterans?
I often say that there's no more noble calling than serving your country. And so after 24 years in the Navy and then about 7 years in the private sector, I said it's time for me to go back and contribute back to my country. And it's what I get my most satisfaction from.
That's great. Why do you think veterans make such excellent employees?
They are a key member of a team. They have leadership skills. They are mature. They know how to work to get the job done. Some of these folks and some of these kids, I call them, have come back from places like Afghanistan where they've negotiated with an 80-year-old tribal chief. They had a squad of 10 or 15 people that they were responsible for their safety and their lives. They're coming back into a workforce that they can offer this rich array of attributes. What's interesting is, as Secretary Shinseki said it best, we take 4 months to turn a civilian or that kid into a soldier, and then we used to take 2 or 3 days and turn them back into a civilian. And so making that transition from service member to civilian now is a critical role that we think we've picked up on at the Department of Veterans Affairs.
What more do you think needs to be done?
A couple of the things that we're working very, very hard at VA is we have a website called eBenefits. And we now require every single departing service member to join or sign up on eBenefits. And what this website does is provide that toolbox, and it allows veterans to in fact apply all of those things online. We also have what we call an employment portal. What this portal does is it provides the opportunity for veterans to see well over 1 million jobs that are out there, both in the private sector and the public sector. It allows a veteran to go through and store their resume on this site. It allows employers to go in and search resumes of veterans. And so it also provides a rich array of advice and tools and employment advice for veterans.
So where would someone specifically go to get this information?
Well, for the GI Bill, it's benefits.va.gov/GI Bill. For the e-benefits, it's ebenefits.va.gov.
So those are some really valuable resources that veterans might not be aware of. Curt Coy from the VA, thank you so much for joining us and sharing that with us.
Thank you, Gigi, and it's been an absolute pleasure being here. I hope I've shared my passion for serving our country and serving our nation's veterans.
Absolutely.